I wasn't supposed to find that cabin. I really wasn't. It was just supposed to be a shortcut, a way to beat the storm that was rolling in over the mountains. The sky was already the color of a day-old bruise, and the air was thick with the smell of rain. I just wanted to get back to my car, turn the heater on, and forget about the overgrown trail I'd foolishly decided to take. The path grew narrower with every step, the roots of ancient pines tangling across it like skeletal hands reaching up from the earth. The crows in the canopy above were making a racket, their calls sounding less like birds and more like warnings. The wind was picking up, whispering through the trees, carrying a chill that had nothing to do with the coming rain. And then I saw it. Tucked away in a hollow, half-sunk in the dark, wet mud, was a small log cabin. It leaned heavily to one side, as if the forest was slowly trying to swallow it whole. But the strangest part? A thin, gray wisp of smoke was still rising from its stone chimney. Someone had to be inside. Against my better judgment, I left the path and trudged through the muck toward it. The closer I got, the more an unsettling feeling crept over me. A low, ominous hum seemed to vibrate in the air around the cabin. "Hello?" I called out, my voice sounding small and weak against the rising wind. "Anyone in there?" Only the forest answered, the rustling leaves sounding like 1,000 hushed voices. As I got closer, I saw the door was already slightly ajar, creaking back and forth on its rusty hinges almost like it was breathing. A faint, rhythmic knocking echoed from within, a soft but persistent tap, tap, tap. I pushed the door open. The creak was loud and grating, like a groan of pain. The air that hit me was thick with the smell of rot and damp earth, a cloying scent that made my stomach turn. It was dark inside, the only light coming from the gloomy twilight, filtering through a single grimy window. My eyes adjusted, and I saw the source of the smoke. Embers glowed faintly in a stone fireplace. But the room was empty, save for a single, straight-backed wooden chair facing the far wall, and on that wall, carved deep into the wood, as if by a frantic hand, was a message. 6 words that made the hair on my arms stand on end. "Don't answer when it calls you back." That's when I noticed it, sitting on a small, dusty table in the corner. An old rotary phone, the black plastic dull and cracked. It was a relic, something from a forgotten time. What was it doing here, in a derelict cabin in the middle of nowhere? I looked closer and saw the line was cut. A frayed wire dangled uselessly to the floor. It wasn't connected to anything, and yet it started to ring. A shrill, piercing sound that cut through the silence and straight into my soul. My heart hammered against my ribs. I should have left. I should have turned around, run out that door, and never looked back. But I was frozen, mesmerized by the impossible sound. The static on the line grew louder, and underneath it, a faint voice whispered, "Pick it up." My hand moved on its own, trembling as it reached for the receiver. I lifted it to my ear. The static crackled, and then a woman's voice, weak and distant, came through the line. "You shouldn't be here," she whispered. "You never left." A cold dread washed over me. I spun around, ready to bolt, but the open doorway was gone. In its place was another solid wall of dark, rough-hewn logs, and scratched into the fresh wood, the splinters still pale, was a new message. Call answered. My breath hitched in my throat. I was trapped. And then the phone rang again, louder this time, more demanding. My whole body shook, but I couldn't stop myself. I picked it up. The static was a roar in my ear, and through it I heard a voice, a terrifyingly familiar whisper. It was my own voice. "Don't answer when it calls you back," I screamed and dropped the phone. It hit the floor with a loud crack of plastic. At that same instant, a deafening clap of thunder shook the entire cabin. I threw myself at the walls, searching for the door, for any way out, but there was nothing. No matter how far I run in this endless, looping nightmare of a cabin, I still hear that ring. Every night, in the deepest part of the silence, it finds me, and I know one day I'll have to pick it up again. Thanks for watching this chilling tale. If you want to hear more stories that will keep you up at night, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You don't want to miss the call